Alrighty everyone, welcome back. It is now October 21st of 2023, and one major aspect of the current status of the whole Snow White fiasco is that we know that Disney is beginning to ramp up their marketing campaign. They are going to expedite their trailer release as a response to the Daily Wire, dropping their teaser of Snow White and the Evil Queen starring actress Bret Cooper, which, by the way, debuted on October 16th, which, in case you did not know, was Disney's 100th anniversary. It was the probably most epic troll by the Daily Wire that Disney and the executives and the heads are really not too fond about right now. Now, focusing on actress Rachel Zegler, there's a lot of things happening behind closed doors between herself, her view and perception of the Daily Wire, really making that bold announcement on October 16th, which really is beginning to unravel behind closed doors. Let's discuss. This is Mike Zero. Subscribe if you're new and like this video to see future updates. I'm also on Twitter at Mike01. I thank you all so very much for the great and kind support. Now, I think that we can all share the same opinion that Rachel Zegler is quite the insufferable actress, and as a person, she's right on my list with the insufferables, featuring Amber Heard, Phoebe Waller-Bridge, Brie Larson, Peter Dinklage, and even, to a degree, many other actors can join the list, and even presenters like Jimmy Kimmel. Now, we know that there's a lot of things happening here with Rachel Zegler, given that she has been very outspoken before in the past, well before the whole SAG strike situation, about how she viewed the prince as a stalker in the 1937 original, and how she said those terrible things about Andrew Burnap. However, this is where things begin to really get worse. Now, on top of everything here, with Rachel Zegler currently dealing with the ongoing fallout for Snow White 24 by Disney, one major development has to do with Rachel Zegler's thoughts on the Daily Wire's announcement of their non-woke Snow White starring Bret Cooper. One crucial update here involves director Marc Webb of Disney's Snow White that delivered the following. As a creator, I think it's always important to compare to other iterations of Snow White that have been done before, and those that are currently in active development. I recently ran my thoughts up with Rachel when we were going over some updates about our post-production process, and all I can say is that she felt deeply offended and felt that the Daily Wire's sneak announcement on Disney's 100th anniversary was very childish. This is something that both I and Rachel agree on. I feel that as a studio you must remain professional, and even Rachel, who by the way is the most professional actress I have worked with in recent times, felt the Daily Wire taunting us in such a way was a huge embarrassment for themselves. We had a deep talk about their version of Snow White, and Rachel agrees that our story is going to deliver to a wider audience, since it is going to present something that has never been done before in history. One thing I found surprising from Miss Zegler was how we both agree that this is another wide-viewed example that, much like the minority of loud, opinionated fans and those in the general public that can't handle a new vision for Snow White that is meant for the modern woman, even a studio like the Daily Wire has to sink to a new low and to a level to make a petty announcement on Disney's big day. Now guys, let me just say one thing about Marc Webb. Now, he's the director, by the way, really talking about Rachel Zegler's thoughts here about Snow White and the Evil Queen by the Daily Wire, which, by the way, I gotta give a big thumbs up to Jeremy and, really putting it out there that this is all, falling into place to kind of give us a brand new tale on the Brothers Grimm iteration of Snow White. And let's not forget about Ben Shapiro for making this really entirely possible. Bret Cooper, very good actress, a very good voice. She really does deliver a great narration and really is very outspoken on many of her different podcasts out there. Go ahead and check her out, by the way. But there's a lot of things happening with Marc Webb. We know that this guy gets very easily offended, and I think a lot of it has to do with the fact that he is very much jaded over the fact since Disney dropped him from his Snow White deal. We talked about this. They were going to kickstart a Snow White cinematic universe. He was supposed to have a 4 Snow White movie deal that fell apart. It was going to be 2 prequels and 1 sequel, joining the current Snow White 2024 film that got canceled and that he got fired from as well. Now, on top of all of this, this is where it gets even more interesting. He goes on to elaborate, apart from, of course, that we view this as a very childish and petty stunt. Apart from Marc Webb, even writer Greta Gerwig made, of course, and something very much direct, that delivered something brief and very direct to the overall general public. As a writer, she says, you are always going to deal with competitors. It's not a new thing in Hollywood to have another version of Snow White. But I spoke with Rachel and Gal about the Daily Wire's attempts to embarrass us, and especially Rachel really made it abundantly clear to me personally that she felt disgusted over what the Daily Wire is doing with Bret Cooper. We feel insulted, and it's a behavior I have never seen in my professional life from a film studio. Ben and Jeremy lack professionalism, and Rachel didn't take this lightly. I will never forget she directly informed me that she absolutely is eager to call out the pettiness from Ben, Jeremy, and Bret and their efforts to devalue Disney's take on the beautiful tale. She and I really feel that the general public is just afraid of a story that shifts away from the iconic love tale to focus on female empowerment. But that's about all I have to say. I am proud to tease that we are gearing up to showcase a glimpse of our film to the world in the coming weeks, so we ask our fans to patiently sit back as we prepare to kickstart our first look at Snow White. Rachel is eager to let loose of our true thoughts on this film once we figure things out with the whole SAG strike situation. Now again, guys, like I say, we know that Rachel is just preparing a lot of big statements to be told that's going to call out not just a lot of Hollywood studios out there that dropped her and blacklisted her due to her dumb statements about Snow White 1937. Disney even let her go from multiple projects, and she's also planning to call them out too. But the fact that you got Greta Gerwig, the writer of Snow White, along with Aaron Wilson. Aaron, of course, is the co-writer, by the way, in case you did not know. But Greta Gerwig is the main writer. She is also the writer of the Barbie movie, so not too surprising about her efforts with this film. And Marc Webb, you may or may not know him. He basically created The Amazing Spider-Man 1 and 2 and 500 Days of Summer. So he's a romance guy. And it's quite surprising to see him shifting away from your typical romantic film, right? And he's all for that. He's supporting that. And he's backing Rachel Zegler to no end, like it's no tomorrow. So we know that there's a lot of things going on with Disney. They are very much annoyed and frustrated over the fact that the Daily Wire dropped it on their 100th anniversary. And you know what? I say who cares? I think that was a great move by the Daily Wire. You know, it's really not that big of a deal as Disney's making it out to be, as Greta and Marc are making it out to be, especially Rachel Zegler behind closed doors. I think it was a brilliant move on their end, and it's only going to cause more headbutting between both Disney and the Daily Wire. So anyway, guys, I would really love to hear your take on all of this drama below in the comments, and if you guys did enjoy the content for it today, make sure to drop a thumbs up on this video to support the channel, and I will catch you guys later.